I'm an art teacher, and I am in a very, very strange goal to make sure that nobody has to go to art school. So, we are going to give you guys a lesson today, but I need you guys, as you enter the chat room, if you're going to stay for our lesson, there is going to be one condition. There is only one condition for taking free art lessons from Mr. Rod, and that is to draw along with me while you guys are doing it. If you guys don't have a sketchbook, go grab some napkins. If you guys don't have a pen, ask the waiter, ask anybody, or grab something that you can doodle with. If you guys want to learn, you guys can, and you guys will get a lot better today if you guys are going to be willing to put the time. Now, if you guys aren't able to draw today, it's perfectly fine. I upload all of these to YouTube, and you guys can see them there. So yesterday, we talked a little bit about the upper body. And we discussed a little bit of how we can distinguish the shapes that consist of these body parts. We examined how to connect this big circle and how to start mapping the shape of the head a little bit better, right? How to understand the sizing of your rib cage, because comparison to your head is a very important aspect of design. So understanding that helps you create characters of different proportions, of different sizing, of different genders, and making them look really good. So if you guys are interested in learning that process, you guys can go check it out on my YouTube channel, and that will be up today. I uploaded the one for the legs. We did the sushis. Sushis are the basic concept for leg posing. So I taught you guys how to do sushis 2 days ago, and then yesterday we taught ourselves how to draw cylinder heads and the torso link. So today we are going to move on to the actual face features, and it's going to be really cool because I've been looking forward to doing this one for a while. So let's get to it. Today's lesson will be faces. How to map out the head, mapping out the head. The face features? No, I'm not going to say face features because it's not just the face features. We're going to have the head features. So yeah, considering just the facial features would be just considering the eyes, the nose. No, we're going to consider everything from everything. So we're going to consider that. And we are going to learn how to do that based on the triangle method. Understanding the triangle method is going to help you guys understand how to actually see the rest of your body parts and how to use it like a puzzle instead of seeing it like something that you're guessing. That's the way that I have learned that the body works the best, and learning anatomy in itself is very easy if you allow yourself to actually see things for what they are instead of trying to follow the rules that everybody tries to do. So essentially, today's lesson is going to be how to understand where your body facial features go. If you guys can see right here, there is a very easy correlation as to where your nose canal is and where everything else lands. So there is no reason to guess where something else is going to go if we can map it out simply with a triangle. So today's exercise, and my exercise for me, is going to be to simplify this in a way that is easily understandable by you. And from you guys, I need you guys to please try to see beyond the style that I'm drawing. Please see beyond the fact that I'm drawing in a certain style and understand why I'm connecting parts where I'm doing it. Understanding where things go is much more important than understanding how they are drawn. And that is going to be something that becomes apparent as you guys become better at drawing cartoons. You don't need to learn how to draw a realistic arm if you know where the arm goes from. If you don't need to draw a realistic leg if you understand where the legs are supposed to go from. And that could be as simple as a little tiny circle to define that. Right? But understanding at the angles in which these go is the difference between a person that can manipulate a shape really easy and put it in any perspective, or a person that is struggling just to even draw the leg going down. So understanding these very basic concepts of volume and perspective and angles is essentially key to understanding posing. And that is what you guys chose this whole sketchbook to be about. So we are going to perfect that at every single step. Now, let's go back to our previous step, and we're going to show you guys how to draw your faces, your head shapes. We're always going to connect the lesson of today to the lesson that we did yesterday, right? So yesterday's lesson was cylinder heads. So whenever we are drawing our faces today, I'm going to show you guys how to connect it to the torso with a cylinder. And just like that, we are going to just create a connecting lesson that will help you guys without having to see the previous video as well. But it'll entice you so you guys can get better at it. So let's start with the head. Our head is going to come out of our torso. So let's start with a simple torso. Our head is going to be like an eyeball coming. Let me explain this better. The little circle that you draw at the top can be visualized like an eyeball, but it's essentially creating the guidelines that you're going to need for your collarbone. Your collarbone kind of wraps around your neck like if it was an eyeball anyways. So that works perfectly, and it extends past your rib cage a little bit too. Having this shape gives you a general understanding of how your head is supposed to be structured against your actual rib cage. And if you just draw cylinders or circles inside, you have an ambiguous way of looking at this. You can be looking up, you can be looking down. And it just gives you a really nice guidelines to be able to draw faces. Here, all you got to do is draw ears on the side because this is essentially the neck. And what is on the side of your neck? Your ears. Your ears connect your head to your neck. Your ears connect your head to your neck and your neck to your actual body. So from here, this is going to be a very important point because that's where your neck comes down, but that's also where your neck is going to come and meet at the front of your collarbone. And that is how you get this little complicated area. That's how you do it, by finding the bottom part of your ears. So let's do this from the side, and then we'll go into the faces. So, So, rib cage, eyeball at the top, cylinder coming out of it. I'm going to find my ears, and from the bottom of my ear to the front of my rib cage, that's one. And then from here to the bottom of the back of my head, I'm seeing it as a profile, would be the second. I can then choose any of these guidelines that I already have to choose for my jaw because it goes around it. So I don't need to choose or decide how a jaw works. That's the beauty of this, right? Just follow one of those lines and then just thin out the neck a little bit so you have the depth. And that is the beauty of drawing heads with cylinders. It already gives you the guidelines. So it's a matter of just following one or two of them. So now let's move on to the next step, which would be, so these are cylinder heads, right? Just following cylinders gives you a nice little guideline to be able to follow your jaws and stuff like that because you already have those lines. You're just following them. That is why I like cylinders. I find this a lot harder to do on a sphere because it's just, I don't have that. I don't have the volume on there. I have to make it, right? If I have to guess it, then it gives me a chance to misconstrue it or do it wrong. So I don't like drawing them like that. And I always wondered why it was so darn difficult to land that like that. Yes, it's possible, totally doable, but it's so much easier to just do this. And then just thin out my neck if I need to a little bit. To me, that's so much easier, right? I don't know. It's going to be up to people, however you learn and stuff, but I find this so much easier than that. Anyways, let's move on to the actual face. So once we have a cylinder, and a cylinder is just two circles connecting by the edges. That's it. You can decide a midline, and we're going to draw a triangle. That triangle on the midline is going to give you essentially your anatomical placement for your nose canal. So essentially what you're replicating here is you're replicating this. You are going to be replicating the general concept of your nose canal and your bones, right? You're going to be following these guidelines to come up with the next section. You are essentially replicating your anatomy, your bones that are underneath. The goal is to understand where the eyebrows, the cheekbones, and the mouth goes. And that is easily accessible by just following these lines to the desired height that you want them. So if you follow this line, you can stop anytime. You can stop right here, you can stop right here, you can stop right here. It's all going to be style dependent, right? You can make these smaller too. It doesn't have to be that size of a triangle. In this case, let's just go small. Let's go here. If I do this, I'm going to represent this area of the skull, which means that this upper part is going to be my eyebrows. Right? So that's going to be the upper part. It's going to be my eyebrows. Always represent that as your eyebrows. This can be independently moved. So if this one's down, I can make this one a different shape because I can make that to be the eyebrow line. Instead of my bone, it's technically the bone and the actual structure together. So I can do that, and I can represent that. This bottom line right here will be the cheekbone line. This is really easy to access and learn to how to do if you just pay a little bit of attention. If you have like high cheekbones, you would keep them high. If you have low cheekbones, you would just bring them lower. This is literally the easiest way that I can explain cheeks in general. If you have old people or babies, they're really big, so they just cover everything. And then you have a situation like that, right? This is going to give you access to knowing that little muscle that happens in the cheek. So it gives you access to your cheekbone and that side. So let's draw it again. Eyebrows. And then this is going to decide my cheekbones. If it's like a model, draw the cheekbones high so that they have the cheekbone right here. If you have a character that it's, I don't know, a little older or has like a little bit more age to them, draw the cheekbone a little lower. And that way, whenever you draw the little curvature, you end up with situations where someone has a super high cheekbone or somebody has a low cheekbone. So that's easily manipulated by just changing the size of where this little thing goes. Now, let's give you guys some examples so you guys don't think that I'm just speaking out of my ass. Let's draw some stuff. I figure that maybe two lesson thingies plus an example is the best way to go about it. So I'm going to do half of it like this and half of it like that. I would use this to create my eyebrow line. I would use this spacing right here. I'll teach you guys where the eyes go, but I'm just going to show you guys just how easy it is to just start putting things in the place that you need to be able to generate the things you want. This space right here is just the spacing for your mouth. This is the edges of your cheek. So you can draw two dots. You can draw curvy line number 1, curvy line number 2, overlap the top one, and you have lips. Right? You already have your chin because you already drew it with this. So that's where your chin goes. That's where your cheekbones are. So you can connect those and start building your face like that. This is going to be the neck. So you can just draw your neck like that, or you can draw a jaw if you want the character to look really, really, really rugged. You can also taper in the neck muscles if you want a thinner neck. You don't have to keep them like that, but they always have to connect to the bottom of the ear. You always have to connect them to the bottom of the ear. Regardless of how wide or how narrow they are, you have to always connect it to the bottom of the ear. That is where your neck connects to your head. So that is going to be a very easy key point to be able to keep in mind. So now, if everybody is in tune here, I would like to ask you guys' help and just like and share the video so that we can get more people in here. You guys, if you guys do learn anything, this is the only condition I have. If you guys learn anything by the end of this stream, if you guys think that you guys are a slightly better artist by the end of the stream, the only condition is that you guys have to share one of my videos or one of my reels or whatever of mine. But that's going to be on the honor system. So, if you guys do learn something, help your teacher out. If you guys don't learn something, hey, I'm sorry. I hope that tomorrow is a better lesson. But I have a feeling a lot of you guys will, because this is stuff that doesn't get taught. All right, let's continue. So seeing that little triangle gives us access to a lot of information, let's move on to the next step. Okay, let's start mapping out one step further. So we're going to draw our cylinder head again. And the cylinder is just circles, man. It literally is this. It's not a very specific cylinder either. Like, you can draw a cylinder in any way and come up with that. The whole idea of the cylinder is to have a circle at the bottom that you will eventually be able to use to find where your rib cage is. Okay? This is going to help you understand where your arms and your rib cage is going to be located against your body. So anything you draw up here, it's relevant, but you just have to make sure that your ears are connected to your body in this way, right? If you guys manage to do that, you guys can exaggerate everything here, make it bigger, make it smaller, make it whatever you guys want. But it's going to look right because you're connecting your ears to your body. That is the important part of this. This is the puzzle piece. Understanding how to connect your ear to your body, and later on, when you get better, you can figure out how to draw jaws and stuff like that, or like the front muscles. All right, so let's move on to the next step of the cylinder head, and that is understanding the eyebrow, the mouth space. So if we are going to have our cylinder head again, we're going to draw a cylinder, draw circles inside, draw a midline, we're going to draw a triangle. From here, I'm going to, once again, I want this character with really big eyes. I want this cartoony eyes. Instead of this, I want super big eyes. So I'm going to enhance the size of this so that I have more space for bigger eyes. So the reason that I enhance this, I make this space bigger, is because I need more space for eyes there. Then from here, I get to dictate if this space is going to be filled in with a big eye, or I could also just go the opposite way and draw a little eye, right? It's all completely dependent on what you want to achieve. You can make a guy with really big eyebrows and like little eyes, or a person with anything in between. The mouth area of the drawing is going to come from this triangle as well. Your mouth area is going to be following this triangle down and creating a teardrop with the bottom of your shape. The bottom of your shape is going to be where your chin is. So you get to decide where this teardrop goes. You can draw it this way, and it's going to look okay. You can draw it down. You can draw it in. That little teardrop is so cool because you can manipulate it in any way you want. As long as it connects back there, you have access to every single movement that you possibly could want. And it's going to look right on your character. And it's also going to give you connecting points to your other body parts. So you can now have free range to move your faces. And let me give you an example of that, okay? Because that one's a little confusing if you don't understand it. Okay, so let's say that we have a normal face like that, right? But I want to open his mouth up, but I want to exaggerate it really, really badly. But I want it to look like the same character. I'm going to take here, that's the connecting point of my muscle for my face. I'm going to stretch it out, keep the same sort of like positioning, and keep the upper lip in the same place. And now I have a very exaggerated face, and I still have all these mapping points, right? I can still connect this to the edge of my cheekbone and be able to come up with really awesome shapes. Because I'm not losing that mapping point. I'm not losing my knowledge of my character. I'm not losing that puzzle piece. I'm just moving it, right? Once you understand something, once you understand the basic of it, once you understand this is a basic shape, then you can exaggerate it. You can make it bigger. You can make it smaller. You can make it any shape you want and make it any character you want. So that's the beauty of this. There's no limit to this, right? You can make it little tiny one, or you can make this into a very big one. It still matches in that same area, and therefore it gives you access to modify that character to that much more level. It's just a more intuitive way to draw it than actually having to do this, right? I don't know. Like this, it made sense until I discovered something that made more sense, right? This is harder for me to move, but once I find those mapping points, I can understand how this is done, right? I understand now if I want to draw this mouth part has to be past the eyes. So if I draw it from the front, I'm going to draw this. This mouth part has to be past the eyes. And that's more like that shape that I drew as a profile. Just because I understand these little mapping points. So even things that are like simple like that are easier for me to draw them with this methodology as opposed to drawing them with the other ways that I have been taught in my life. It was just like a woof. So I don't know what to call this really. Like I really don't know what to call it because I just kind of stumbled upon it and I've never seen anybody else teach it like this. So I don't know what to call it yet. So if you guys have an idea or if you guys have like a suggestion of what this little triangle method should be called, please let me know because that sounds like I don't want to like, I want to be arrogant. I want to be arrogant and call it like the Rodgon method, but it's not, no, I can't, right? Like, well, it's more so about this little triangle, the triangle connecting points. This is the key part to this. Right? Understanding this part of the face helps you access everything else in a very simple way. Which one? The Rodgon method? Oh man, okay. Can one of my super dedicated followers do me a favor? Anybody that's willing to do this for me, please do me a favor and I'll send you guys a free ebook, okay? If you guys are willing to look through other people's drawing teachings and let me know if anybody has come up with this, all right? If no one has come up with this, I will call it I'll call it the Rodgon method and actually be proud of it. But I need to make sure that it's not something that somebody else has taught for like decades before I go ahead and like claim it because I just don't want to deal with that drama and shit. So if one of you guys or multiple of you guys want to do me that favor and like scourge the internet to do that for like an hour or so, I will give you guys an ebook for your time. Well, no, I understand that it's like lesson plans. Maybe this was like found out a million years ago, but is it taught the same way that I'm teaching you? See how if you bend it, you just come up with a completely different shape as opposed to if you bend it this way? Like you have so much control over your character. Like you can give your character a chin, you can give your character no chin, and it's not affecting any other part. Like it's all connecting in the same place. It's so good. This is the forgotten method that was burnt in Alexandria. Well, that's kind of cool though, right? Like if I was able to figure that shit out from like not knowing that somebody did it, that's super cool to me. Like to me, that is awesome as well. Even if I don't end up being the person that like gets named for it, right? Whatever. Like that's irrelevant. That's just funny. Like that's just fun things to do. But if it doesn't, I still came up with it just from observation, which is awesome, and I get to teach it from observation. So I would just enhance it by learning whatever the other person like learned that I didn't. Right? So it's not like, oh no, disappointment. It's like, holy shit, that's awesome. Let's go. So we are learning a lot. Okay, now let me teach you guys about the nose. The nose, oh my God, the nose is like the easiest thing in this method because we already start with a triangle, right? So the nose in itself is going to be incredibly simple. The nose is a triangle already. So the triangle that you choose at the beginning is going to depend on the width that you want your nose. If you want a nose that's really skinny, draw a skinny triangle. If you want a nose that's really wide, draw a wide triangle. Okay? That is going to be the very first thing you get to decide. The nose width is going to be based on that because that's the canal of your nose. Now, the next step is choose a dot, a single dot at which you want the length of your nose to be. Now, this can be up, down, in, backwards, Pinocchio status. It can be anything you want. In this case, let's do 3 different noses. We'll do one that's about here, and we connect all 3 of them to that. We want this one here, connect all 3 to that. And we want this one, I don't know. This one's up, this one, let's do this one super long. Do. Follow your triangle lines to come up with the rest of your face. And you have successfully drawn a nose in any angle you could possibly want. It's the easiest shit in the world when it comes down to this. So, and then you choose, you already have the shadows, you already have the top and the bottom of it, and you already have your nose bridge. So all you got to do is choose whatever style you want to draw for it. Now, from there, let's try it in different ways and different angles. Let's focus on just the triangle for now. Draw a dot, connect, and now you have your nose. Okay? The bottom and the top, and you have the connecting points to your eyebrows and your rib cage and your nose bridge. So you have all that information from that triangle initially. So if you guys are helping me do some research though, please do me a favor and send me anything that might be similar if you guys do run into something like that, so that I can actually research it and just make sure that I'm not stepping on anybody's toes. I don't want to accidentally take credit for something that anybody else has already done or researched or done more work on. So if you guys do me that favor, that'd be amazing. The Rodgon Method is official. Yes. All right. So triangle, nose, dot, connect all 3. And then we have the bottom, we have 2 sides, and we can draw these in any way we want. From the profile, dot, 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 dot. Now, for the shading inside your nose, leave at the top right here, wherever the top of your little diamond is, leave a little circle, okay? If you guys leave a little circle right there, it gives you the easy access to rounding out your nose, but it also helps you with the shadowing because all you got to do is add color around that a little bit. And it'll give you nice shading for your nose. Add a little bit more if it has a little bit of underneath. but that will be a good enough shadow and like little highlight for any nose structure that you draw. Being a caricature artist for about 20 years now, and this is how I draw my noses whenever I go out in public and I draw people. Because it's easy, it's simple, it's quick, and I don't have to worry about details like shading or anything. So that is how I draw my noses. That's how I shade them. It's a very stylized way of shading and very generalized. But if you're drawing people in public, like if you're just wanting to draw somebody that you see in like the subway or something, right? Let's say you have like a person, they have a beanie on, and then you're like gonna draw them, and they have their nose, eyebrows, and they have a big honker like your teacher does. By the way, I'm drawing myself this last weekend. Draw a little bit of shadows. My eyes are gonna go here. My mouth is gonna go right here. My chin is gonna be right here. And then, so I know that this is my mouth, so I have a mustache, so I can just draw the mustache covering most of it. And then that's covered. My cheekbone is right here, so all I gotta do is either draw a line here, or if you wanna use it as width, just draw it parallel to it. And then now you have that. This is going to essentially give you glasses, so you can use that to guide your glasses really easy. And inside of here, I just have to draw two spheres and then give them hemispheres. If I give two hemispheres to an eye, to a skull, I get eyeballs. So hemispheres to a circle. Who knew, huh? Super simple. And that is what your teacher looks like. And I was really tired this week, so. Couldn't reach just in time. What about legs? Well, we talked about legs earlier this week, but I'm not going to go into heavy detail about legs, but I'll give you guys a little quick tip, okay? Quick tip about legs. Yay! Milky, do you want to give this tip? Okay. Let's see. So sushis. Okay, for legs. Okay. So sushis for legs, according to Milky. Hey, everybody. How are you guys doing today? I'm doing great. Officer Milky here, ready to give you guys a lesson. Okay, so if you guys want to learn how to draw legs and do stuff like that really easy, I'm going to show you in 3 easy steps. Step 1, draw a circle. Boop, boop, boop. Step 2, draw something like a crab leg, like crab thingies. Just from this edge and this edge, do a little crab claw. Okay? Add little feet. Now you have a basic sushi. That is what a sushi is. A sushi is a circle and 2 little crab claws. Now, change the direction of any of these guys. So, one this way, and now you have a different type of legs. Get creative with them. Now the person's dancing. And when you get better and you learn how to connect them to your body with perspective, you are going to be able to draw them in any direction you want. And it's going to help you later on to understand how to draw your things better. So sushis are really, really fun. And they help you learn how to draw your legs in different positions. So Officer Milky here with another tip for Rodgon the artist. I'll see you guys next time, okay? Peep, peep. All right, Milky. Hey, you did a great job, Milky. Awesome. So yes, sushis in themselves are going to be a very basic shape of just drawing that sort of, it kind of looks like a tooth. But then at the bottom of it, you can either extend it to create a more generalized like human shape, or you can always keep them nice and simple if you want to keep them for more cartoony purposes. So it's a very easy way to learn how to draw your legs, but it's not going to be the be all of lessons, okay? You need to understand overlapping lines to be able to make these work. In order to make these work properly, you need to understand how to draw beanbags. If you practice drawing beanbags, you are going to get these little overlapping lines. These little overlapping lines later on become things like this. This is a beanbag. So this and this is the same thing, only I'm able to visualize it a little bit different because I can now add style to it once I decide I want to add style. So a beanbag and learning these overlapping lines can lead you to learning how to draw legs really, really easy. So sushis and beanbags. Woohoo! There you go. Thank you, Officer Milky. You have been doing a great job. All right, let's go on back to our faces. So for our lesson, we are giving 3 different exercises per lesson so that you guys can practice at home whenever you guys watch these videos. I believe that that is going to be the best way to continue on because I think you guys really enjoyed that. I think you guys really, really, really enjoyed it because you guys have been telling me you enjoyed it. So our lesson plans will consist of 3 different lessons that you guys can take on after the video is over so you guys can improve on drawing these things better. Okay, so every single lesson will come with 3 different exercises that you guys can use to be able to master that thing. And by the time we are done with this sketchbook, which will be about 2 months, that's normally how long, we will have an entire book of lessons alongside videos that we can do and use and upload and teach and everything with. So that is going to be the goal for the next remainder of the year, honestly. That's going to be the goal, to finish this with a lesson every single page and make sure that it's nice and clear and awesome with lessons and exercises so you guys can be the best at drawing everything that I teach you. So awesome. Let's continue on with our actual heads. Okay. So let's do exercise number 1 and explain exercise number 1 since we have gotten to that point. Exercise 1. Exercise 1 is going to consist of drawing a triangle and finding the circumference of your triangle of your cylinder heads. So you're going to draw a cylinder by drawing 2 circles and connecting the edges. Then from there, you're going to draw a midline and the triangle on it. That is going to consist of exercise number 1. And that is essentially doing the same thing that we normally do for our heads in finding our midline, right? When we find that midline, this is what we're doing here. We're finding our midline in our guides. So whenever we are practicing these in space, it makes it really simple to just change that so we have a different face structure. Getting used to moving this around is going to be very important. So you have to master it at this level. You have to master it at a very low level and squish these, like make different cylinders. Don't stick with the same one. Like change them around. See what happens when you move that cylinder up, when you squish it one way, when you squish it the other. This is essentially going to help you understand different head shapes and different angles. So just play with the head being kind of like a beanbag cylinder and draw your midline somewhere. If you want to get more advanced, and this is too easy and you want to take it to the next level, draw your midline and then draw a happy face. And see what happens when you start doing that. See if you can map them out nicely and see if it actually works. That's going to be exercise number 1, and that's going to be just essentially finding your basic shape for your face and that little triangle as a mapping point. Okay, so that is going to be exercise number 1. Now, let's show you guys some examples of exercise number 1 so you guys can go ahead and do that when you guys are home. I'll go ahead and finish the drawing so that you guys see how it turns out by doing so. Cheekbone, cheekbone, mouth shape coming out of the triangle. Let's make this guy smiling. Yay. This guy has cheekbone, chin. I'm going to connect my cheekbone to my chin, cheekbone to my chin. If I don't want to make this guy with a big jaw, he wouldn't have a big jaw right here. So it would just kind of curve in, curve in. Big ears, And let's give this guy a hat. By following this same guideline that I already have, I'm just gonna push it out and I have a hat because the cylinder is a very cool shape. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Let's do a bigger one. Let's change the shape of it. Let's make them looking up. So if I make them looking up, I would see more of the bottom circle rather than the top. So my cylinder would just be flip-flop. I would draw the bottom lines here, the upper lines here, and I would see the bottom of my nose more so than the top. This is my chin, and this is the bottom where my neck is. This is technically my neck going into my body, right? My ear. If you guys are wondering how to draw those really complicated like face, like if you're wondering how to draw it like looking up, right? Let's draw this guy looking up. So if you draw your triangle all the way up here and you draw your shapes just going to the edges, it's really easy with this method because you just follow those lines. And it becomes really easy. Really, 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 really easy to draw those poses. And then this bottom part that's a bitch, you go bottom of the ear, top of the chin. Bottom of the ear, top of the chin. Shadows. Ta-da! You are welcome. So let's do that again. See how this is not reaching all the way to the bottom because it wouldn't, because that would be the rest of your neck. You find your ear, bottom of your ear, top of your chin. Curvy. And it goes around the cylinder to your other ear. It just wraps around the cylinder. So, ta-da! You're welcome. That took me forever to learn. Forever. And then when you learn how to connect your neck and stuff like that with the other lessons that we've learned, you end up learning how that body part works. It was harder for you before because you didn't understand how to do it. All it takes is one good teacher to show you once, just a single time how to draw something. And that can be the difference. Or you can have the other way that makes it really hard if the teacher does not understand what they're teaching and they still try to instill knowledge. Let me show you why this cylinder stuff is so good, like so stupidly good for faces. Cylinders in themselves fix the issue of trying to find where something else is on the other side of the face. Imagine this is a profile, right? This is a profile. I want to find my ear. So I'll draw my ear right here. Cool. If I already have the mapping point to the next one, if I just draw enough cylinder circles, right? If I draw enough cylinder circles, I'm going to have an understanding of where this connects here and then it connects over here. So I have the ear here. If I want to find the direct opposite, I just draw a line and I draw through my shape and I have my ear right there. So just finding the ears is really, really easy. Now, the bottom of the ear is going to connect to the chin, right? So all you got to do is decide where my chin is. And my chin can be easily found, or my jaw, by following one of these little tiny like circles that we decided. Let's make this one into it, okay? I'm going to go down to it, go around to it, and go up again. Go down to the line, go down to my chin, and then go back around and up to my other side. Now, this extra protuberance that we have could be used to create the little anime-looking mouths and stuff like that that you want, or understand that your chin normally protrudes a little bit from your face, so it's going to be kind of like that. The triangle that you draw is going to give you access to your nose really easy by drawing a dot. And you have access to knowing where the mouth and stuff like that reach to because you have that triangle telling you exactly the limitations of that muscle. Yes, you can stylize it and change it, You can do that, but that's breaking the rules. And once you understand it, you can break the rules to your content. But if you continue using these guidelines and morphing them as you learn, it doesn't throw off anything else in your drawing, and you can still keep drawing them the same way. So your style can be based on essentially your simple anatomy mannequin, which is your Sam. For me, my Sam of my faces is this. This is my Sam. This is my simple anatomy mannequin that I use. From here, I can create anything I need from this. This can be a superhero. This could be a pinup. This could be a kid. This could be an elderly person. This could be a monster. This could be an old lady, an old man, an alien, whatever the hell I want. Old vampire, monster, whatever. So this simple anatomy mannequin gives me access to all that. But understanding these little mapping points is what makes me understand anatomy enough to be able to morph it to anything that I need. So that is essentially what we're trying to aim for. Now, let's move on to showing you guys what exercise number 2 will be. Exercise numero dos. Exercise numero 2 will consist of you drawing these little lines from the triangle. So you're going to draw a simple cylinder head, draw a midline, do it from the front or from the side, whichever way you feel comfortable, and then draw a triangle, and you're going to follow these lines up, down to a teardrop, and the upper ones just go around, up, around, and connect, up, around, and connect. You end up with this little tiny infinity 3-way symbol, for the lack of making it sound like a phallic thing right here. But it's just essentially going to be the easiest way to understand this. So you draw your cylinder head, draw a triangle, and I want you guys to continue drawing these lines like this. I want you guys to get used to drawing this in different lengths, different sizes, because this is essentially going to be what determines the style of the character. If you change sizes for them, if you make one smaller, that's going to mean that everything from the cheekbone to the rest of it is going to be smaller. So if you're going to deform these, make sure that the bottom cheekbones stay the same, because this is the part that is going to be really, the bottom of the cheekbone should always stay consistently the same on both sides, because this doesn't shift, okay? The top can, because it's your eyebrow. But the bottom, try not to shift it too much, because then it's going to look like the person's face is actually melting from their face. So don't try, the bottom of the cheekbones should be the same on both sides. So get used to doing these little 3 circles coming from it so that you can start learning how to use them to draw your facial features in. If you map them on the actual cylinder, you can use them and learn how to do them in 3/4 because you're going to have the limitations of this. And if you get really, really happy and want to try, draw faces on them so you get used to what happens when you change the sizes of things. Okay, so that is essentially number 2. Exercise number 2 is just learning how to follow the lines of your triangle or your nose canal to find your other mapping points. I do have a YouTube channel and it has 400 videos on it. You guys should check it out. Yeah, it kind of looks like a weird flower. It is kind of like that situation like that. But it's just a matter, and profiles are like this pretty much. So let's move on to the mouth. Let's talk a little bit about the mouth. So we talked about the mouth area, right? But how do you draw the actual mouth? Triangle, we have our mouth area. So from here, it's actually really easy, really, really easy to draw the mouth. Choose 2 points any 2 points. It can actually be any 2 points. Any 2 points within those lines. Curvy line number 1, curvy line, and then curvy line number 2, a little smaller. Ta-da! You have a mouth. When you connect those lines, you get the upper lip. And since you drew this lower one a little lower, you get your chin. It's actually incredibly simple to draw mouths. If you want to practice them without having to draw everything else, just draw a little teardrop, draw 2 lines on that teardrop, and then just connect them like that. Make the upper one a little bit overlapped over the bottom one so that you can add volume for like lips and stuff like that later on if you feel like drawing pinups. Connecting things in 3/4 view. It's the same way. But that is going to have to be for a facial expressions video at some point or another. I think the actual concept of the mouth is really simple. It's just 2 lines, curvy line, smaller curvy line, and then negative space. And then you can combine that in any way you want, and it's going to look okay. Always just make the bottom one a little bit smaller, and it's going to give you that very semblance of depth. And then when you get better, you're going to be able to draw your lips inside of that. So you're going to draw that, and then you're going to draw your lips inside. And you're going to be able to get really like supple lips every single time. So this is essentially the outside, this line, and I'm drawing my lips inside. Not outside, inside. And then the negative space is what you draw. Now the teeth, you can go ahead and draw teeth in a bunch of different ways, but I don't like drawing teeth with a lot of detail. Mostly because it's not a part of the actual drawing that I want to call attention to. Like, it's just not. I'd rather have the eyes stand out or the lips or the mouth, like, rather than the teeth. So if you draw a lot of teeth, the characters just sometimes end up looking a little bit less dynamic, a little bit less cool. Because there's so many details that you're paying attention here. And God forbid you draw one too thick, and now you just threw off your whole entire drawing just because you wanted to draw a lot of detail there. See what I mean? Like a little tiny unevenness in the teeth line just makes it look really bad. So what I like to do more than that is I like to just give negative space. Give you the illusion of filling in that, and I don't have to worry about adding any details that might ruin my drawing. If I want to add any details, I would add the gum lines. Just the gum lines, so that you have that indication of where the teeth would go, but not necessarily fill it in. Then if you have like a missing tooth, you'd have to draw your tongue. Just do little fangs. Yeah, I guess you can do little fangs too, but it doesn't matter what you draw inside. Like the actual general shape of the actual mouth is more important. Like just learning how to generate this little curvature is the more important part of it. Would you always add the line to differentiate between? Sometimes, like if it's necessary, like these you don't need to because it's a necessary part, but you could, I guess, if you wanted to. All right, so let's move on to the chin. Did we talk about the chin already? No, I don't think we talked about the chin already, but it's not a very complicated part. So at the bottom of this actual mouth shape, you're going to get a teardrop, right? Now, the teardrop, you can go really easy and draw your chin just as a little circle on top of it. Or you can get really cool and make it into an external shape, right? If you think about it like an external shape, like let's say you're drawing like a superhero and you want like an extra big chin, you can see this little tip of it as an extra shape if you want to take it to that level. If you don't have to. You can just keep it as a teardrop. But if you do, you can always use that and see a little bit more volume by adding a little extra shape to it. And that little shape can be little or it could be big, depending on what you want to achieve with the look of the character. So in this case, right, we didn't draw really a chin on him, so he looks kind of like he's really like weak. So I'm going to add volume to that part, and it's going to connect in a different way to my chin. Now the character has a nice strong chin, and it doesn't look kind of as weak as he did before. Let's try it again with over here. Right now we have a flat chin, but if I wanted to bring that chin out a little bit, it would just create a slightly different look for that character. Same here. Chin's here. Let's move it out here. No, no one wants to watch your private video, lady. Let me block you guys. No one wants to see your stuff, lady. Let's see. Tune. Yeah, like we get those bots all the time. Like it just happens. Yeah, we covered the nose, but this video will be on YouTube today. I'll make sure that is later today, or I have arms today. I think the arm one comes up today. And then I'll see if I can upload the other one too. This is probably the best TikTok. Aw, man. See, that's nice. Thank you. Thank you so much. If you guys have learned anything in between this lesson, please like and share my stream. Like that is all I ask of you guys in return. All I need is more attention to my artwork so that I can eventually get a teaching job. That is what I want to do. I want to get a teaching job. I want to teach at a university, and eventually, people will acknowledge me through enough work and teaching hundreds of thousands of people, and then maybe they'll give you a damn job at a university without a master's degree. That's the only reason I can't get a job there is because I don't have a master's degree, and I live in California, so it's like, that's frustrating. Yeah, I reach more people here on TikTok than I will ever reach in a classroom, but I've always wanted to teach at a classroom. I wanted to teach curriculums, like that's what I've wanted to do, but I haven't been able to. So at this point, I have decided that I'm going to go wherever somebody gives me the chance to. So I'm going to put this publicly every single time that I stream. If you guys have an art school that is willing to hire somebody of my caliber, and you guys want a really cool teacher, you guys have the possibility of doing so. You just have to tell them. You don't need a master's here in Scotland. Nicole, please message me. I require this knowledge because I was in Scotland a little while ago and I was planning on moving there forever. So message me. I would love more information on that. Have you done storyboards before? No, but we are going into posing, so that might be something that we actually deal with. Okay, now let's go into exercise number 3 and wrap up the video for today. Exercise numero 3. Exercise number 3 is going to consist of drawing both the nose and the mouth within your teardrop shape on the bottom. If you guys remember, the nose is easily done by following that triangle and drawing a dot where you want your nose to go. That is going to be the exercise for them. So you're going to draw your teardrop for your mouth, draw your triangle, and you're going to draw your nose and your mouth. You're going to draw a teardrop, you're going to do a triangle, you're going to decide a direction for your nose, connect it like a little pyramid, and you're going to draw a mouth going across your shapes. This is going to be exercise number 3, and it's going to help you understand that relationship between your nose and your mouth a lot more. Because a lot of people have a very bad understanding of the spacing they need to leave between here, right? They just don't do it and they worry about it when there's way too late, when it's already all the details already there. So if you get used to drawing it and getting used to this before you get to that era, that stage, you guys will be a lot better off and you guys will not have to struggle as much with that simple part. Remember, concepts like these are so much easier if you learn how to break them down in simple shapes at first. If you guys have troubles with this stuff, there are a lot of video resources that I have uploaded for this. But if you guys really are really struggling and you guys don't see any of the solutions through my videos, like if you guys watch them and you still have problems, you guys can always have access to message me directly and I will answer at my earliest convenience. I can't always say that I'm going to be able to answer right away, but I can definitely try to do it and then answer it in the video or something like that. I am here as your teacher. I want to be your teacher as much as I possibly can, and you guys allow it to. I will guide you guys as much as I can within the structures of what I know. And with that being said, thank you guys so much for being my students today. Thank you for drawing along with me. And you guys are the best part of my day, every single day. And I look forward to drawing with you guys every single day and trying to teach you guys something new so you guys don't have to pay for art lessons, right? That is the whole purpose of this. The purpose of what I do is to keep you guys from going to art school. So you guys don't have to spend your hard-earned money throughout your entire lives paying back loans from predatory people. That is essentially the reason that I hop on here every day, and hopefully I'm making a little bit of a difference with people around the world, because I have seen way too many people suffer their entire careers trying to pay back loans that they were never going to be able to pay back because they were never given the opportunity with the knowledge that they had, right? Like sometimes schools set you up for a failure more than you think. And that is what I am trying to avoid by giving you guys all access to all the lessons, all the knowledge you could possibly need to be able to get back on there and be successful with what you guys do. Thank you so much for everything. Officer Milky, you want to say bye? Beep, 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 beep. Hi, everybody. Officer Milky here once more. Thank you much for tuning in to my bro's lesson right here. He's not the best at teaching sometimes, but I teach him how to do things sometimes. He doesn't listen. But Officer Milky signing off. Rodgon. Hey, Milky. Yeah, sign off too, dumb. Oh, sorry. Hey, man, calm down. All right, Rodgon signing off. Thank you so much. Like and share my streams. Go follow my YouTube if you guys want more videos and you guys want more knowledge. I'll see you guys tomorrow here around 10 o'clock in the morning for another lesson. We will go into, we drew this today, so we're going to have to go into either one of two options, and you guys get to choose right now. We can go into facial expressions tomorrow to complete the face, or two, we go into the shoulders because we talked about that before. We talked about the connecting parts with the head, so now we can go on to the shoulders, or we can go into facial expressions. One of those two. I want you guys to leave a comment in any of my videos, any of my reels, and the one that I see the most is going to be the one that I choose. So go onto my page, leave a comment in any of your favorite ones, and I will see you guys tomorrow for that lesson. Thank you guys so much. I hope you guys learned a little bit, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.